Can geography influence politics? What is the significance of geopolitics in our modern world? Let's dive right in. Geopolitics, at its core, is the study of the effects of geography on politics and international relations. It's a fascinating field that explores how the physical layout of the world, mountains, oceans, climate, and more, impacts political decisions, societal growth, and international affairs. But why does this matter? Well, consider this. The geographical positioning of a country can determine its access to resources, its vulnerability to invasion, and even its economic prosperity. For instance, countries with warm climates and fertile lands have historically been able to sustain larger populations, which in turn can result in powerful civilizations. In the contemporary world, geopolitics continues to shape international relations. One of the most striking examples is the ongoing geopolitical chess game in the Arctic. As global warming melts Arctic ice, new trade routes and potential oil and gas reserves are becoming accessible. This has led to a scramble among countries, especially Russia and Canada, to stake their claims. Another example is the South China Sea dispute, where China's aggressive territorial claims, fueled by its need for resource security, are causing tension with neighboring countries and the United States. This is fundamentally a geopolitical issue, as control over these waters means control over major trade routes and valuable resources. But geopolitics isn't just about physical geography, it also encompasses cultural and societal factors. For example, the establishment of Israel in the Middle East, a region predominantly Arab and Muslim, has led to decades of geopolitical conflict. The cultural and religious differences, combined with the geographical proximity of the involved nations, have resulted in a complex and ongoing geopolitical struggle. In essence, geopolitics is like a game of risk. It's about strategizing, securing resources, and positioning oneself favorably on the global stage. It's about understanding the geographical constraints and opportunities and using them to one's advantage. Geopolitics, thus, plays a critical role in shaping the course of international politics. It's the invisible hand guiding the decisions of nations, the silent whisper in the ears of world leaders. So the next time you read a headline about an international dispute or a new alliance, remember, it's all about geopolitics. How does the struggle for power among superpowers shape the geopolitical landscape? In the grand chessboard of geopolitics, the superpowers are the kings and queens, the players who move the pieces. Their power dynamics are complex, often a delicate balance between cooperation and competition. But one thing is certain, in this struggle, the world is their stage. Consider the concept of hard power, a term coined to describe the use of military might and economic sanctions. Superpowers wield this instrument to establish dominance, to assert influence, and sometimes to change regimes. It's a direct, forceful approach, often met with resistance and conflict. On the other hand, there's soft power, the subtle art of winning hearts and minds. It's about shaping perceptions through culture, values, and diplomacy. It's the Hollywood movie that portrays a nation's ideals, the aid given in times of disaster, the diplomatic hand extended in friendship. Soft power is influential, not coercive. But what does all this mean for smaller nations? They often find themselves caught in the crossfire, their fate tied to the whims of the superpowers. Some may align themselves with one superpower seeking protection or aid. Others may try to play both sides, a risky game with potentially high rewards. In the end, it's a complex dance. Power is sought, power is won, and power is wielded. And in this dance, the geopolitical landscape is shaped and reshaped, often in ways that resonate far beyond the borders of the superpowers themselves. The power dynamics among superpowers significantly influence the geopolitical landscape. Has globalization blurred the lines of traditional geopolitics? It's a question that has been buzzing in the minds of many political enthusiasts. To address this, let's take a step back and understand what globalization really is. It's a complex process of interconnection and integration among people, companies, and governments worldwide, facilitated by advances in communication, transportation, and trade. Now, coming to its impact on politics, globalization has indeed introduced a significant shift in the age-old geopolitical theories. The world is no longer a chessboard marked by national borders. Instead, it has become a complex web of connections, where influence and power are no longer the sole domain of nation-states. Enter the non-state actors. These could be multinational corporations, international organizations, or even influential individuals who now hold substantial sway in the global political arena. They are not bound by geography or national interests, and thus their actions and decisions can have far-reaching impacts, often disrupting traditional power dynamics. Globalization has also led to a broader diffusion of power and influence. It's not about who has the biggest army or the largest economy anymore. It's about who can navigate this interconnected world effectively, who can build alliances, and who can influence global public opinion. So, to answer our initial question, has globalization blurred the lines of traditional geopolitics? The answer is a resounding yes. Globalization has indeed redefined the rules of geopolitics. Does a nation's economic strength correlate with its geopolitical influence? This question has been an ongoing debate in international relations. But if we look at history, it's clear that economic power often translates into geopolitical sway. Take, for instance, the rise of China. Once a sleeping giant, its economic explosion over the past several decades has propelled it onto the global stage. China's economic prowess has not only reshaped its domestic landscape but also significantly influenced its geopolitical strategies. It has used its economic might to extend its influence, from the Belt and Road Initiative to the strategic acquisitions in technology, infrastructure, and resources worldwide. Similarly, the economic resurgence of India is a story of transformation. From being a closed economy for decades, it has emerged as one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. This growth has enabled India to assert its presence in international forums and play a more prominent role in global affairs. However, it's crucial to remember that economic power is not the sole determinant of geopolitical influence. It's one piece of the puzzle, along with military power, diplomatic relations, and soft power. Yet it's undeniable that it's a significant piece. The rise of economically powerful nations like China and India are examples of how economic factors can shape geopolitical realities. So, to answer our initial question, does a nation's economic strength correlate with its geopolitical influence? Yes, it does, and often, economic factors play a decisive role in shaping geopolitical strategies. How is technology reshaping the geopolitical landscape? This question grows more pertinent each day as the world becomes increasingly digitized. Technology is no longer just a facilitator of communication and commerce, it has become a major player in the arena of geopolitics, and its influence cannot be overstated. Imagine the realm of cyber warfare, a battleground far removed from the traditional theater of war. Here, nations employ sophisticated cyber weapons to infiltrate, disrupt, and potentially incapacitate their adversaries' infrastructure. Power grids, communication networks, and financial systems become targets, and the devastation can be as crippling as any physical attack. But the role of technology in geopolitics extends beyond cyber warfare. Consider the manipulation of information, a tactic as old as politics itself. Today, technology has given this practice an unprecedented reach and potency. Social media platforms and other digital channels can be exploited to propagate false narratives, sow discord, and destabilize nations from within. In the face of these challenges, nations must not only develop their technological capabilities, but also bolster their defenses against the technological threats posed by others. They must navigate this new digital landscape with care, understanding that the next significant geopolitical event may not be a physical confrontation, but a digital one. So, how is technology reshaping the geopolitical landscape? Well, it's creating new forms of warfare, it's changing the way information is manipulated, and it's forcing nations to rethink their strategies. Technology has indeed become a crucial tool in the geopolitical arena. What role do military alliances play in geopolitics? Now that's a question that opens up a world of complex dynamics and intriguing interplay of power. Military alliances like the North Atlantic Alliance, or NATO as it's more commonly known, have a significant role in shaping the global political landscape. These alliances are not just about collective security or defense of member countries. They're also about the projection of power, the balance of forces, and the creation of spheres of influence. They can serve as a deterrent to potential aggressors, keep the peace in volatile regions, and even influence the outcome of conflicts. But it's not just about the military might. These alliances often have a political undertone. They can sway diplomatic negotiations, impact economic relations, and even affect domestic policies within member states. So you see, military alliances go beyond the battlefield. They're woven into the fabric of geopolitics, influencing global events in more ways than one might think. Military alliances often serve as a determinant of geopolitical power. Can environmental concerns shape geopolitical decisions? The short answer is, absolutely. As we look around the world today, we see a growing recognition of the profound influence of environmental factors on geopolitics. Climate change, in particular, is a key player in this arena. It's not just about rising temperatures and melting ice caps, it's about the cascading effects these changes have on resources, economies, and ultimately, political stability. Droughts can trigger food shortages, which can ignite social unrest. Rising sea levels can displace populations, sparking migration crises and border disputes. These environmental challenges aren't confined within national borders. They're global problems that require collective action. They're shaping the ways nations interact, cooperate, and compete with each other. And as these environmental issues become more pressing, they're likely to play an even more significant role in shaping geopolitical strategies and alliances. So, to answer the opening question, environmental concerns are increasingly influencing geopolitical strategies. How does energy politics factor into geopolitical strategies? Energy is the lifeblood of modern economies, and as such, it forms a significant part of geopolitical strategies. The control and distribution of energy resources, such as oil and gas, can shape relationships between nations, fuel conflicts, and even determine the rise and fall of global powers. Let's take the Middle East, for instance. This region is a hotbed for energy resources, primarily oil, and it has been a focal point of global attention for decades. The wealth generated from these resources has significantly influenced the power dynamics in the region and beyond. The desire to control these resources has led to tensions, alliances, and even wars. Then there's Russia, a major player in the global energy market. Russia's vast natural gas reserves have given it significant leverage in its relations with Europe. By controlling the supply of gas to various European countries, Russia can exert influence over their domestic and foreign policies. This energy diplomacy has been a key tool in Russia's geopolitical strategy, but it's not just about the control of resources. The politics of energy also involves the struggle to transition from fossil fuels to renewable sources of energy. Nations leading in renewable energy technology are set to become the new power players in the energy politics of the future. In essence, energy politics is a complex game of chess, where the players are nations and the pieces are energy resources. Energy politics often serves as a catalyst for geopolitical tensions. It's a game that continues to shape our world in profound ways. Can demographics influence geopolitical decisions? This is a question that often arises when we delve into the fascinating world of geopolitics, and the answer is an emphatic yes. Demographics, the statistical data relating to the population and particular groups within it, can have a profound impact on geopolitics. Take migration, for instance. The movement of people across borders can shift the balance of power, influence economic policies, and even ignite conflicts. It can also create new alliances and partnerships. For example, a country experiencing a large influx of migrants might need to adjust its foreign policies, forge new relationships, or reconsider its stance on international aid. The cultural exchange that comes with migration can also lead to the softening of political stances and the fostering of mutual understanding among nations. Another demographic factor that greatly affects geopolitics is population aging. As countries around the world grapple with an increasingly aging population, they are forced to rethink their social, economic, and political strategies. A country with a large elderly population might have to allocate more resources towards healthcare and social security, potentially affecting its military spending or foreign aid contributions. The shifting age structure can also influence a country's political decisions. An aging population may push for policies that prioritize stability and security, while a younger demographic might be more inclined towards innovation and change. So, to circle back to our initial question, can demographics influence geopolitical decisions? The answer remains, demographic changes can indeed shape geopolitical strategies. What does the future hold for geopolitics? A question that seems to carry more weight as we navigate through the complex tapestry of the 21st century. As we gaze into the crystal ball of geopolitics, one trend that stands out is the rise of non-state actors. These entities, which range from transnational corporations, online communities to terrorist organizations, are increasingly influencing international relations. Without the constraints of national borders, they operate in a globalized world, challenging traditional geopolitical norms. Think of the influence of tech giants like Google and Facebook, or the impact of international NGOs and activist movements like Greenpeace and Black Lives Matter. Another trend reshaping the future of geopolitics is technological advancement. From artificial intelligence to cyber warfare, technology is not just shaping economies but also the political landscape. It's altering the dynamics of power, creating new avenues for competition and collaboration among nations. Countries that can harness these technologies will likely have a significant edge in the geopolitical arena. But these advancements also come with risks. Cybersecurity threats, for instance, are becoming a significant concern. The potential for cyber attacks to disrupt critical infrastructure or manipulate public opinion is a stark reminder of how technology can be a double-edged sword in geopolitics. In this context, it's also crucial to consider how climate change and environmental issues will influence geopolitics. As we grapple with the realities of a warming planet, nations will need to negotiate shared solutions to these global challenges. The politics of energy, water, and food security could become even more contentious and central to geopolitical strategies. Lastly, let's not forget demographics. Changes in population size, age, and distribution can significantly impact a country's political stability and economic strength, shaping its geopolitical trajectory. The future of geopolitics will likely be shaped by a multitude of factors, both old and new. As we move forward, it's clear that understanding these dynamics and adapting to them will be crucial for nations to navigate the unpredictable waters of global politics. So, let's keep our eyes on the horizon and our minds open to the changing tides of geopolitics.